All right, joining us in the studio is the CEO and Program Director of the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, Michael Oluwagbemi. Good morning. It's good to have you join us in the studio.
Thanks for having
this morning.
You.
The question on the lips of a majority of Nigerians since the president made that statement that subsidy is gone and he was, bringing alternatives with regards to this matter of energy and also looking at how to cut costs for Nigerians. He talked about compressed natural gas. And a majority of Nigerians have been waiting with bated breath, saying, oh, okay, we are about to begin. But up until now, it seems a lot is not happening with regards to that. So talk to us from your point of view. And we see that you went on a tour recently, study tour. Talk to us how prepared we are and what Nigerians should be expecting.
Good morning again, and thanks for having me.
Right.
Definitely a journey of 1,000 steps. Started with the first.
Yeah.
And for Nigeria, that first step was on May 29 last year, when Mr. President made his first sweeping policy statement around the removal of fuel subsidy. Right. The existence of fuel subsidy meant that CNG was not competitive because the dirty and unreliable PMS was subsidized. And alternative sources like CNG that were more competitively priced did not appear to be more economical. But the removal of PMS by Mr. President indicated that the president was serious about moving Nigeria from the unreliable, dirtier PMS and diesel to the safer, cheaper, more reliable natural gas, which Nigeria has in abundance. That by itself was the foundation of the current policy of energy transition in the transport sector. Since the president paneled the Presidential CNG Initiative, led by our chairman, Dr. Zach Adeliji, and 6 other wise men and women, the steering committee, and the empowerment of our management team led by myself in October, we've done some critical work to ensure that this can take off. First and foremost was we needed to work with regulatory agencies because you do not have a sector if you do not develop standards. Investors do not have the confidence to invest if they are not sure that their investments are safe and that the entry and exit from the sector can be guaranteed. So what we did was we worked with the Standard Organization of Nigeria that released about 80 standards that were signed off in March. But those standards had been on the book for more than 4 or 5 years. And without standards, an engineering-driven sector, a technology-driven sector like CNG cannot take off. So we did that. And that shows a level of preparedness. As we speak now, the more than 22 regulatory agencies that have one thing or the other to do with the sector are developing their operational guidelines. In Abuja today, this morning, the Nigerian Automotive Design and Development Council is having its own operational guideline review and stakeholder engagement with actors in the automobile sector and with respect to the accreditation of conversion workshops. Because we need to have at least 1 million vehicles converted by year 2027. And so this work is already ongoing, and that shows seriousness. In December, we met with our investors because government alone, government is not the one that builds your filling stations for petrol or the tank farms and the depot. These are something that private sector do. But private sector needed to get the confidence from the government that government is serious about this policy. So we had the session, the Investors Forum in December, and since then we've been able to mobilize well over $50 million into the sector, just in the space of 4 months. This is probably equal to the entire sum that had gone into CNG sector in the last 10 years. And that have gone into refueling stations. NIPCO is opening about 8 of them between now and May 29. Bovas is opening at least 5 of them between Ibadan and Kwara State and Ekiti State between now and May 29. NNPC Retail is opening several across the country. More than 10 private sector operators are opening about 10 of them between now and June 15. So all of these are investments that are going directly into the sector to ensure that Nigerians can get the CNG they need when they need it. So these are one of many indicators that we are serious about this. The government is focused on this. The government has given incentives. We've given tax waiver since December to the sector. We've provided a very, very firm view when it comes to the purchase by the government agencies. That gives some assurance, some demand signaling. We've also provided CNG gas for mobility at reduced prices as given by the concessionary gas price that was published by NNPDRA for the sector about 3 weeks ago, offering almost 40% discounts to regular price gas going to other sectors. So I think these and many other things shows that we are getting ready. We're not going to be there overnight. It took more than 40 years to get addicted to PMS, and it will take us a few years to get rid of that addiction.
So that's where I'm coming from, mindset and trust of the people. Because since the removal of the fuel subsidy, we've seen people use gas to power their generators. But the mindset of using gas to power a vehicle, CNG to power a vehicle, has not really caught up. A lot of people believe that the CNG is like the regular gas, that once the car is hot, it can blow up. Please address that.
Yes, it's not. I mean, what you use for generators and what you use for cooking is LPG.
Yes.
And that's just, it's not CNG. CNG occurs naturally, natural gas, you just compress it. It occurs as a byproduct of, gas prospecting, as opposed to crude oil refining or stripping natural gas to get LPG, which is what LPG is of. Of course, it's much safer. And also, the reality is that CNG's application for transport sector has a lot of incredible advantages for your vehicles. They last longer. You don't have to go for oil change as much as you need to. And of course, you are using a resource that disconnects Nigeria from, or Nigerians, from the economic vagaries that we associate with crude oil. Whenever there's warfare going on in Ukraine, Russia, there's something going on in Palestine, in Israel, the price of crude oil goes up.